All right. Hey everyone, we just wanted to pop on live to let you guys know that in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be going live and watching some more Love is Blind season 6. We're doing a live analysis right now. We watched 2 episodes yesterday. It was really fun. We already see quite a few personality patterns, and this season seems pretty good, pretty interesting. So just wanted to let you guys know, yeah, in the comments or in the description or something, you can find a link directly to where we're going to do the watch party. Would love to have you guys join us. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know. In the meantime, though, while we're waiting here, feel free to ask any sort of questions. We just wanted to hang out, say hi before we do our watch party. I'm curious, did any of you guys get a chance to see the sort of how different personality types think about reality video? That's one of my favorite topics. Like, I've been waiting to talk about that on, like, more publicly, um, in a live stream. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that blew my mind the first time I realized it and discovered it. And I think it's a more advanced topic, but I think it's really life changing once you realize the repercussions of how different personality types think about things, look at things in a completely different way than you might be used to. I think I actually wrote in my in the patron post, I was saying if I had known that before, it would have really helped me with a lot of relationships. Like, sometimes the people I was dating or my close friends and stuff, I would throw them off with the ways that I liked talking about things and thinking about things, and they would throw me off a lot of times. Like, they would be like, "Why are you always thinking back on your past experiences and talking about them all the time? That's not it's just a little too much." Like, that's a lot of like, maybe over romanticizing things or just sort of being stuck on those past experiences. Yes, I get it, that happened to you, but why does it need to keep coming back? And why do you anchor yourself on that or uh, so much? And then on the other hand, when some of the people that I was dating or close friends with, the way that they would connect the dots and speculate about things, or the ways that they like to be more sort of present and in the moment and stuff like that, I found myself really confused. Like, wait, what? You don't want to bounce around ideas and talk about things in my way? Or how are you, like, you feel so sure about this pattern or this guess that you have? I don't really get it, though. That's not really how I look at things. And so I don't know. Thinking back, I was like, if I had known some of these personality differences back then, it could have helped me connect with people, like, appreciate them more, like, sort of know how to bridge that translation gap a little bit and be like, oh, how can I connect with you in your way and also explain my way of thinking about things and how it's different. So, um, yeah, I'm curious, Z, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's always funny how your personality type INTPs relate to that, especially with introverted sensing and extroverted intuition in the middle.
Yeah.
I've always like before I knew type, I don't know why. I just kind of like somehow had I vibes INTP. Like I would have like friends I would know, and I just had this kind of vibe about them before I knew BTI. Ended up being INTs later on when I learned about type, and when I was getting to know them as friends before I knew MBTI, a lot of the things that I realized with INPs is how it's really hard to get them to be your friend immediately, but like the moment you start asking them about like, okay, tell me like the most specific meaningful moment in your life, like it just all of a sudden
Ask that
opens
question.
them up. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's so funny how like you always hear like an INTP like they're always so like kind of like their face is always so like stoic. The moment they talking about some like the first moment this girl broke my heart, and then they just like stare. They like that fast stare off into the wilderness look, and then they start like kind of going and delving into this like memory that seems like it really, I don't know, like it's just really funny. Like it really kind of still has like a heavy weight on how it's impacted them. And I always thought that was really funny. And you're right. It's like different people have different ways that they weigh their experiences, and how much it really like is like how much currency it is for different personality types. And sometimes I think that's what I think you had a really cool topic about how sometimes coming up to other people, it looks confusing, right? Like if you have introverted dancing, sometimes you might romanticize, or that those experiences you had mean so much, and you romanticize it, and you like almost like make it bigger than what it is. And then maybe somebody of another type doesn't realize that's something important, and they just kind of blow past it, and they're like, what, this person's crazy.
Yeah.
Why are they making a big deal over that?
Yeah.
So
I like
yeah,
what
I
Emma's
really like
saying
that.
here. It's like a origin story, and I like what you said about the different personality types of way experiences differently. Um, I think Raw in the Discord server was like, "What's most real to me now is now," and then 20 minutes from now, it's that moment, and then 20 minutes from now, it's that moment. Like it doesn't need to be so. The past isn't real after a certain point because we're just moving forward. And to me, that's just not really how I think about things. I really think about different meaningful milestones or things that I learned, different chapters, like, oh, this relationship taught me this, and this, crush that I had, it taught me this. And I think the reason it's so, it can be a little bit of that over romanticized or like dramatic, I guess, thing, especially with INPs, is because if you're leading with introverted thinking or introverted feeling function, which is a very like sort of identity type of thing, right? You're just always checking in. How did that impact me? How did that make me who I am? And what, like, you're so focused on your identity, and then these specific experiences stand out as things that um, just taught you certain things about yourself, and so those experiences get magnified. And so I think that that's always going to be personally a part of how I like thinking about things. I'm not going to be able to get rid of that, but I do think that knowing that not everyone thinks about things that way can help me. I don't know, sometimes I would feel angsty or misunderstood if other people didn't get it, or like, oh, I have this, this thing and no one knows about it. But then I can sort of like turn down the dramatization or over romanticize it, or like get some new perspective. One thing that actually was really uh, helpful for me, uh, sort of around that 20 to 24 range, is these experiences that I thought were just so unique and specific to me, that like no one understands that I had this tricky scenario with this person and this girl that I liked, and blah blah blah, all these things. And then you get older and you talk with more people and you realize other people have had that experience too. So I basically spent like all these years in silence, like, no one understands this thing that I, like one time I liked this person, and blah, blah. And then like you talk with other people and they're like, yeah, that happened to me too. I eventually like learned how to be better at connecting with people, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And you're like, what? Like, so I feel like I had this burden, because I was like amplifying that this is my story, and realizing that actually, like lots of people have these experiences or similar experiences, and other people can also like I would talk with some of my EP friends, and they're like, "Yeah, sometimes these things don't work out," or I meet lots of people all the time. It's not that big of a deal. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Wait, what? I can think about it like that? That's crazy." And so I think, yeah, I don't know. Um, I and there's just so much in that topic, how different personality types, like what stands out to them or what they hold on to or how they think about what's real, that it's like it's a more intermediate advanced topic, but I was like so glad I was able to like touch on it a little bit in that video because it's really cool. It was really interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
What tell me if this is true. What I find with INTPs, like with a lot of my INT friends, not just you, like other ones, like the moment that these people understood them was something that finally was like this pivotal moment for them. And so that's why when it's a girl story or a romance story, it was like she was the only one that she was the first one that really got me. Yeah. And then it's like the SI is like just kind of like holding on because it's so
Yeah.
special how finally someone understands me for who I really am. Like it's pretty funny that I don't know, it seems like a pattern.
Uh-oh. I think the connection cut out for a second. But the um I talked about this in the dating show video where I react to my experience on a YouTube dating show. But it's interesting thinking about how much sometimes the angst that we have is almost like self-inflicted. Like like I'm, we're like, oh, I've never met anyone who I really connect with or that really gets me, or it's so rare to find that special person that gets me. And then, but then like
I'm
with
sorry, I'm
more
not laughing at your your sadness. It's eyes are
but the
so
thing is,
like
like it's interest like it's crazy because like honestly, like in high school, middle school, all that stuff, I felt a lot of angst about feeling misunderstood and trying to find my close friends and all that stuff. But the thing I think now, if I don't know, like how much of it was self-inflicted, not self-inflicted in a like I
mm,
could have just like like I think if I loosened up and tried meeting more people and went to the right places to meet people, some of that angst would have gotten figured out a little quicker. Um, Now
yeah,
it's definitely
definitely.
hard. It's definitely tricky. I totally get how in high school it would have been hard for me to find those people. Um, and even in
Mhm.
college to find those people. But knowing what I know now, like if I had just tried out some new things or explored some different circles and uh like I don't know. I feel like some of it was mm, like I was working with a really small data set and I was like
Uh-huh.
uh
Yeah.
like and I was like, "No, look, the in the pattern, I've only really met 3 people in my entire life that I've ever super connected with." And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, out of your circle of 100 people, you met 3. But if you met like 1,000 people, you would meet
Right.
like 50 and there would be plenty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I like what y'all said. Where with generally with ISAs or maybe stays, it's not maybe as dramatic. I think with
yeah.
SI, and actually I think that's true because with
Yeah.
especially with ISJs or even ESJs, because they like from what I've spoken to with them is that when they have an experience, they really squeeze the juice out of it. They're like playing it out in their mind over and over and over again until they've really processed it, and then they've been able to kind of accept it. Like with introverted sensing, there's a sense of acceptance in like this is reality. It just is what it is, so you have to accept it sometimes, and that's a really cool thing with how ISJs or ESJs can tend to have that level of acceptance with SI. Once it's been processed so much, they can just kind of allow it to move on and then get on with things. But with NPs, it's a little bit dramatic, I think, because it kind of romanticizes the possibility of could have been with how much was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think
interesting
that's really
because
cool.
yeah, like the SJ personality types in my life, they can also give these very detailed, long recaps of their experiences. But I think it's to spot the difference. I feel like when my SJ personality type friends are recounting things, there isn't all that layer of meaning added on. It's a little bit more like these are the facts of what happened, and this was hard and this was good. But like it's a little bit more straightforward. Whereas with the NPs, it's like this was the first person I had ever met, and like this was so interesting because I was thinking about this, and then I met this person, and it made me think about like it's a little bit. There's a little bit extra connections layered on top
Yeah,
that make it more
yeah.
dramatic.
I think with SJs, this would be even a bit of like a positivity after like post the experience that they do when they're telling the story. I've heard an ISJ who is a little, she's kind of retold her story, and it's like, yeah, I had a little bit of a difficulty growing up. I had a bit of a difficult relationship with my mom when I was growing up, but
Yeah.
the tone is a little more like, I had this experience, I processed it, and now I realize this, that, la 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 la. It's a little bit more
Yeah.
like, well, I see now why. I see now why I went through that, but I processed it, and it's helped me kind of get through something. Whereas with yeah, like what we're talking with NP, sometimes it's more of an anxiety, like I had this experience. So I think that yeah, everybody, no matter what, will have that SI. Um, SI will hold weight for them, but how S can be really cool with almost using it as a way to process and move on to something positive and uplifting.
Yeah. It makes me think about that difference we talked about maybe about a year ago with the difference in terms of the stories or thinking back on things with SJs versus NPs. I don't know if we want to get into that right now, but it's sort of interesting how the recaps are a little different, or the revisiting things in the past is quite different actually with SJs versus NPs.
Yeah, it is a really good example though to talk to hear like a lot of people. I think when they look at trying to hype people, you hear the function again, so you think that it's just that's their, that's they have. You hear FI, so you're like, oh, they're probably an FI dominant or something like that. You hear SI, there must be an SJ, but you know that anyone with that function will always have it, even at the bottom, and it'll always
Yeah.
show up. But it's how the relationship is with that, with the person. How the relationship is with that function is how the function is determined. It's not about how much they're doing it. It's about the relationship and the uncertainty or the certainty they have with it. Like, and there's the clues to that sometimes is listening to how they say it. Like if you hear somebody with NE and they say a lot of NE in almost like a uncertain way, yes, they still have NE, doesn't mean that they're like using it all the time. Be that they're using it in the tertiary or inferior position. An example that was there with SI, like yes, we all NPs and SJs will do that SI pivotal moment story, origin story. But how are they saying it? Is it in like yeah, like this? Because that's just, if you're an SJ,
Things
that's just
happen.
something that happens, right? Like it's something that runs through my head all the time. Or is it like an NP that is like, a little bit more in that moment of like maybe uncertainty with it, or maybe even romanticizing it, because there's more meaning to it than just like letting be sometimes. So listening to how people are saying it, their relationship to it, and how is that stress point in life? A really interesting one. There's a stress point in people's life is how it shows up with functions as well. So if you hear introvert and ENFP saying SI stuff, you'll really hear how the stress points have created a lot of like stories on how it stresses them out that they've had all these bad memories on how they've always been told that they made lots of mistakes. They kept forgetting things, or there's always little details that they've forgotten, and it's just a memory for them that's been really, really like that's stuck in their mind, and it's made them think or overthink or question themselves. You know, there's SI in there, but it's a relationship of like, oh, it's not really something that I was very comfortable with. So
like my whole life I was told I'm very like to stop exploring so many possibilities and to be a little bit more realistic about things and narrow in, and that was always like really hard for me. Whereas you'll hear it with some of the other types, it's not as much of an angst or stress point.
Yeah,
that's like such a big topic with all this function stuff. It's like, don't think about how they're using it and what their relationship is to it, not just because you see SI 3 times that means that that's a lot of SI or something like that.
Yeah, I always love the TJs getting like, you know, when TJs express FI, and it's always like, oh, it really upsets me when people just don't understand me, and I wish I could just be comfortable with how I can express myself, and they get really upset about it. And again, they are in FI, but like, again, if you're an FP, it's not like in the like I'm really upset with people upset at me for who I am. It's more like, this is who I am. Like, do you want me sometimes a little bit more, like a bit more push actually? I am what I am. I'm gonna be free to express that, and it makes me excited to always express what I'm excited, what I'm passionate about, or what resonates with me is always something I'm wanting to talk about. But with TJs, it's like there's a lot less talking about things that make me excited, like that resonate with me. But when I am, it's these painful moments where it's like people just don't understand me, or I feel like I'm not allowed to be myself, and I feel like I'm not able to really be given that permission to.
Yeah, I really like everything you said and how you're bringing this up. It's a really big topic, and that's the reason why it takes time to figure out your type and to see some of the patterns. It's not something you can just pattern really quickly. It's something that takes like talking with more people and seeing more examples to feel more sure, which is why on here and the membership videos and all that stuff, we try to give you lots more real life examples to talk about the little nuances. Like yesterday during the Love is Blind stream, it was really cool analyzing sort of, and we talked through some differences between INTJs versus ENTJs, and how even though this guy looks very introverted, if you look at how he's using TE and NI, it's different than what you would see with an INTJ. And we talked through some examples. We even talked through some like little nuances of how
FI.
FI manage showing up and adjusting for other people is different. For actually, it was like how TJ adjusting for people and showing up in a certain way for people is a little different from FJ adjusting and showing up a certain way for other people. And we've never talked about that before. It was so cool to get into these like little nuances and stuff. So we're about to do another Love is Blind love stream love stream, live stream
Cool.
to watch a couple more episodes, talk through some more examples. If you guys want to join, just hit the link in the description. And then also all the replays for these live streams and different teaching videos and stuff that we've done, it's all on my website, learn.ericwen.com. And there's a lot of stuff on there. So if you ever want to deep dive more, that's the place to go. Lots of examples and fun talking stuff. Any other thoughts, Zee, before we move over to the next live stream?
No, I think just for everyone that was there yesterday, love to hang out again. That was really fun. I think Eric and I were really excited to get back to Love is Blind because, like, I think we said yesterday, the last season was just so disappointing that I think I erased it from my mind, and so it just felt like we haven't done it for so long. So, like, this is just really fun. If you went there today and you haven't joined our live stream, we tend to kind of give away a few spoilers on other things we're talking about. So, and those are things that don't posted on the main channels or any channel. We actually gave spoilers to the people there on Singles Inferno Season 3 and some types dynamics that we saw there that was really interesting because it's more like type, but with like in the Korean culture or like dynamics and things like that. So we gave some spoilers there. So if any of you guys are curious on what goes on behind these live streams, you kind of get a few more spoilers actually. And yeah, it's just fun to hang out with everyone. I think we always love chatting with people in the server. We'll always kind of answer questions as well. So yeah, would love to see everyone there.
Yeah, cool. So if you guys want to join the watch party, it's in the description down below. We'll be there in probably like the next 5 minutes. Catch you guys there soon.
See you later. Bye.